I would just say if there are going to be people who don't believe in you, there are going to be people who don't think that you're good enough or pretty enough or whatever. I just say, you know, don't listen to any of that. If you love what you're doing, if you have a passion for something, always go for it.
Hey everybody, how's it going? Thank you for being here once again. If this is your first time on the channel, the purpose of this is to bring artists from different areas like music, acting, voice acting, and all that stuff, and try to inspire newcomers, new artists. So I'm so excited to talk right now with my next guest. She's a talented performer. She's gonna talk about her work on stage as a voice mentor, of course. I'm sure this will be very, very interesting. Ladies and gentlemen, Jessica Val Ortiz, how are you?
Ooh, I'm so good. How are you?
I'm so excited to have you here.
Thank you for having me.
Tell us a little bit about yourself. Who are you? What do you do?
Yeah, so my name's Jess. I am a full-time content creator and I'm also a musical theater actress. I am currently in the national tour of Spamilton, which is a parody of Hamilton. And so I've been able to bounce from city to city across the country and perform the show there, and it's been really awesome. And when I'm not doing that, I'm making funny videos on TikTok and Instagram and just having a ball. Just happy to be here.
That's awesome. I believe musical theater is one of the most difficult areas of acting because you get instant feedback and you need to be focused on dancing, on singing, on, doing your part. Tell us your process on theater.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. Well, I mean, I started doing theater whenever I was 5, and I just did it for fun, just because I loved it. And I also was mostly connected to singing. That always felt like that was my number one thing that I loved the most. But I did a bunch of shows growing up, and then I started to do it professionally in Pittsburgh whenever I was in high school. So I've been very fortunate to perform a lot growing up. And then I went to college. I actually went to Penn State University, and I pursued my bachelor's in fine arts in musical theater. So I was able to perform a lot in school, and then over the summers I was able to work professionally, build up the resume, have all that awesome experience. And then whenever it was my senior year of college, that's when the pandemic hit. That was in 2020. So it was just 2 years ago.
Yeah.
Which is crazy. And my plan was to move to New York City and to pursue an acting career, but because everything got shut down and there was nothing going on at the time, I couldn't do that. So I stayed at home. Everyone was downloading TikTok. It was like the form of entertainment, the only form of entertainment people had, so I ended up downloading it pretty much just from pure boredom and, to help pass the time. And then I ended up starting to create little videos here and there. And I was like, oh, this is fun. And then after about a month of being on the app, I gained a few 100,000 followers, which was crazy. And I was like, wait, I should do this more seriously. So I would make videos every single day. In November of 2020, just 7 or 8 months after downloading the app, I hit 1 million followers.
Wow.
Which was nuts. I was like, this is happening so fast and furiously. And I was like, I never thought I would be going down this path of content creating and being online and doing all this cool stuff. But here we are. It's been really, really fun. And I'm so happy that I can do my 2 favorite things as my job. So I'm very fortunate, for sure.
That's awesome. And that's pretty interesting because, with the pandemic, we got to meet different talents from different parts of the world, thanks to TikTok, actually. So yeah, I checked on your profile and you're hilarious. That's awesome what you do.
Principal Taylor, thank you so much for taking care of my son, my poor sick son. Yeah, we will be sending him straight to bed as soon as he gets home. Yeah, thank you so much. So this is what you made me miss work for today? Because you have a little cough, a little
Thank you. Thank you.
And I'm sure you have a big dream on your way, which is, you know, Broadway.
Maybe one day that would be really, really cool. But you know, it's interesting because like that was always the goal. That was always the path. But now that I'm, you know, doing more filmmaking, that's something that I'm also interested in doing now. Like I would love to be on TV, commercials, you know, shows. Like you know, I could totally see myself going down that path too, which would be really, really, really fun. So who knows? We'll see.
We'll see. And I'm pretty sure I'm gonna see you in more and more projects coming soon.
Oh, I hope so. Thanks.
I'm pretty sure. Tell us a little bit about Spamilton, which is an American parody and is, as you said, a parody of one of the most successful musicals of the last years, Hamilton. Tell us about this.
Yeah, so it is, like I said, a parody of Hamilton, but there's also little jokes, little punchlines about other Broadway musicals as well. So most of the score, so that means like most of the music in the show, is Hamilton music, but the lyrics are different. So they change the lyrics so that it's like making fun of Hamilton. But then there will be little moments in the show where they'll bring out other music from all these other shows. You have to be like you have to be like a really like top-notch like theater geek to understand a lot of the jokes, a lot of the references, because it's not just Hamilton, it's like so many Broadway musicals across the board. So it is really fun. It's really challenging, but because we parody a lot of shows in Spamilton, there's a lot of different vocal types that I have to be singing. So like I have to rap in the show. I have to sing soprano,
Wow.
like super high and then super low, and then I have to belt. It's like it's a lot. It's very challenging, but it's fun.
Because people may think that, you know, comedy and parody are things that are very easy to do, and actually not. It's very complicated and very demanding in terms of acting.
For sure. Comedy, like I know this is so cliche, but it's like all about timing.
Yeah.
And you know, I've been able to, I think, uh work on that a lot, especially over the past 2 years, just like with my content. And you know, it's been really cool because I haven't done a lot of comedy work before. And but it was always something that like I felt most comfortable doing. But even when I was in college, I only ever played one part that was comedic. Everything else was dramatic or serious. So being able to now finally get to do something that I love the most, which is comedy, and put that into my performance, it's very fulfilling for sure.
Okay, that's awesome. And you said, you know, that you have to be like a theater geek to understand every single reference that is in this parody, because parody is required to be so smart to
Mhm.
be able to play with the things you're, you know, making fun of.
Right.
But what happens if I am not a theater geek? Can I still understand? Can I still have a fun time?
Absolutely. Yeah. I mean, my boyfriend, he's not a big theater person at all, and he came to see the show actually a couple months ago, and he really had a great time. He loved it. He thought it was so funny. There are, you know, some references that he didn't completely understand, but you know, I think the show does a really good job within itself, like tying everything together that like the audience will just like collectively get it. So I think that you don't have to be like a big 100% like theater geek to understand or like the show.
Okay.
I've had lots of friends come see it who aren't theater people, and my dad and you know my brother who aren't theater people, and they think it's really really funny, and they have a lot of fun seeing it.
It sounds very interesting. You have a specific role in this play, or you're like making different roles?
Yeah, so that's a good question. There's only one female character in the whole show, and she portrays all the female characters in Hamilton, all the female characters in other Broadway shows that we're parodying in the show. So it's just me.
So, of course, in terms of acting, this is like a very big challenge.
It is definitely one of the most challenging roles I've ever done, for sure.
And I also heard that you do like vocal lessons for newcomers.
Yeah, it was something that I was doing for a while. before I became like a full-time content creator, that was definitely one of my side jobs. And I had like 10 students that I would teach throughout the week. And they were all of very different levels. Some people were already like in music school and they were going to college for music. And so they kind of just wanted like more help with their technique. And then I would also have students who have never sang before in their lives and they just want to like, you know, start singing. So I have had students of all levels, and it's been really, really fun. It isn't really something that I do anymore just because I've been focusing more on auditioning and you know, the content creating now because it's been a lot busier over here. But that was really, really fun for me to do that.
There is a question that, you know, newcomers, because there are a lot of newcomers watching this, because they want to learn from the professionals like you. And they often question themselves like, do I have a good voice for singing? And that's the question I want to ask. Do you think every person can learn to sing?
I love when people ask that question because I really do think people can learn to sing. It's, you know, I had a teacher in college who completely changed my whole perspective of the voice because when you think of people who sing and you think of a singer, you just think of, you know, their mouths and like their throats and like that's it. But really, it takes your entire body to be able to sing. And once you like really get you know, in touch and in tune with where everything is connected. I think it's really interesting. This might not make much. Sorry, this might not make much sense me explaining this, but I learned like a lot in college just about how like if you were to do a sport or if you were to learn to dance, you're not just going to exercise one part of your body. You're going to exercise your entire body.
Yeah.
So singing is like a sport. It's kind of like how you have to think about it because once you realize that your singing voice it connects to like your tailbone and your back and your shoulders and your stomach and your legs, it all becomes very different. And so going back to the original question, can anybody learn how to sing? Absolutely. It just takes like a lot of work, a lot of training, a lot of patience for sure, because it's not easy. It is not easy.
I would say for everyone that wants to become an artist, you really need patience and you need to keep working because it's complicated. I mean, everyone can become an artist. I think an artist can become from everywhere, but you
Yeah.
really need to get to work because it's very, very complicated.
Absolutely. Yep. You know, it took me 2 years. I mean, I know 2 years isn't like the longest time, but from starting with absolutely nothing and to build like kind of like my own type of like business as Jessica Val Ortiz, like to do all of this in 2 years, you know, it was something I worked towards every single day. I haven't taken a day off, and you know, I'm always trying to think of, you know, ways to be better, to work harder, to, you know, learn more. I just, you know, it's something that you have to love. It's something you have to put the time into and the work towards. So, yes, you're absolutely right.
And finally, you know, as I told you in the beginning of the interview, there are a lot of people that want to learn from professionals, aspiring artists, aspiring singers, actors, newcomers. What would be your advice to all of them, to people that want to do what you're doing right now?
I would just say if there are going to be people who don't believe in you, there are going to be people who don't think that you're good enough or pretty enough or whatever. I just say, you know, don't listen to any of that. If you love what you're doing, if you have a passion for something, always go for it. Because there are times in my life where many people have told me that I wasn't good enough, or I wasn't skinny enough, or I wasn't pretty enough. So I never let that get to me, and now I am who I am, and I'm very proud of everything that I've done and been working towards. And so just, you know, listen to what's in here.
Of course, you have to listen to your heart. And one of the best things I believe of today's world is that we actually can connect with people that do the same thing that we do from all around the world and learn from them. For example, um, a couple of years ago, maybe talking to someone from another country, someone from Broadway, someone from Hollywood, seemed like too far from ourselves. And right now we have this methods, just like we're doing right now, to have a conversation, to learn, to take a little bit of the other person. And that also works for an artist, you know, that also complements everything that you learn on stage or taking classes, you know?
Right, absolutely. And I wouldn't have been where I am if I didn't have certain role models, certain teachers, mentors, you know, like I've had a lot. I've been very lucky to have a lot to look up to, and that's very important. It's always good to have motivation and mentors. So, you know, being able to find someone, even if it's virtual, like I think that that's really important. Like I have people who are not theatrical people that I look up to. I just like have like TikTokers that I watch every single day that do like makeup channels, and I'm not a makeup channel, but I see how they've progressed and how like where they've started and where they are now, and that just seeing that totally motivates me, and that's what like gets me up every day to, you know, work towards what I love. So I think it's really that's, you know, really important.
Really important. Jessica, thank you so much for being here. I really had a great time talking with you. I think you're a very talented artist. I was checking up your profile on TikTok. I love so hard.
Oh, thanks.
And I am very excited about this, Hamilton. I hope I get the chance to see the play in the near future.
Thank you very much. Thank you for having me. I really appreciate this.
And tell us, where can we follow you on social media?
Yeah, so on all platforms, Instagram, TikTok, YouTube, Jess Val Ortiz on everything.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Thank you so much to everybody. Gracias por estar aquí, amigos. Thank you so much. And see you next week with another interview.
Thank you.